on. Hallelujah.
You're on.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah. Hine matov
Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Hine matov with us.
Hine matov
Clap, clap.
Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Let's do that again. Hine matov, two claps.
Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
How good it is.
How good it is,
How sweet it is.
how sweet it is
To be together.
together on this
Sing
day.
along with Robert Mack. How good it is.
How good it is,
How sweet it is.
how sweet it is to be together on this day.
Hine matov.
Hine matov Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov Umanayim shevet achim gam
Shevet
yachad.
achim.
Shevet achim gam
One
yachad.
more time, Shevet. Shevet achim. Gam yachad.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Chag Purim Sameach. Happy Purim. So if we are in the walled city of Jerusalem or the walled city of Shushan, then tonight is the beginning of Shushan Purim, which only occurs in walled cities. And we have just concluded the holiday of Purim for the rest of the world. Those lucky cities get to have 2 nights of Purim, whether you are in the state of Israel or in mythic Persia. And, I think I see a lot of walls around us here at Temple Emanu-El, so we will be a walled city tonight.
Oh, yeah.
And we will continue celebrating with all of the Shushan Purimers and Jerusalem this night. And so welcome everybody to our Shabbat service, celebrating the Diamond Family Religious School and the Davis Academy, all of our Temple Emanu-El members at both. We are so pleased to have everyone joining us and to have all of our kids participating in our service. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope that you at home are dressed up because it's the pandemic. Why not dress up a little bit? Cantor, did you dress up at all?
Oh, no, this is just my regular.
This is the regular, how you go to the office.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You too, right?
This is how I wake up every morning. Yeah, this is just my normal outfits. Right. This is actually might be the last time that you see me as a giraffe for quite a while. On Monday, I am acquiring a sloth onesie.
I can't wait to see
the sloth is going to come in. The giraffe might take a decline. We'll see what happens. If you are at home and you are praying along with us, we hope that you will click on the link and join with us on the Daf Tefillah, our prayer sheets for this evening, so that you can have another device, know all the words that we are praying, and sing along with us. We want to hear your voices. Again, my name is Rabbi Max, here with Cantor Adesnik, and we have Mark Feinberg behind the cameras and Stephen Blick over there behind the computers, making all of this work and keeping all of us on the right page. Please join with us a little more Hine Matov as we bring in the joy of Purim and the joy of Shabbat.
Hine matov
Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Hine matov
Hine matov Umanayim shevet achim gam yachad.
Repeat after me. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is
Together.
to be together on this
Let me do
day.
that again. How good it is.
How good it is.
How sweet it is.
How sweet it is to be together on this day. Hine mato umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hine mato umanayim shevet achim gam yachad. Hopefully this was a good week for everyone. But if it was a challenging week, if it was a week where you are looking forward to Shabbat so you can say goodbye to this week, and even if it was a good week, we can take a moment to pause and reflect on what was, and now to center ourselves on what is here, our community, where we are sitting, where we are at this time, so that we can take in a few breaths and appreciate the rest and the relaxation and the moments for joy that Purim brings, that Shabbat brings at this time. So if you'll close your eyes, take in a deep breath and out. A second breath and out. And a third and final breath to prepare us for all of the singing, all the joy that will happen in this service and into the Shabbat ahead. And out. We now begin by lighting our Shabbat candles. So if you have not lit your Shabbat candles at home, now is a great time to get up, take the iPad or the iPhone with you, and light your Shabbat candles with me as Cantor recites the blessings for us. So Hara's time for lighting the Shabbat candles was far earlier today. We have Shabbat many times in the Miller household.
All right, so we bring in that energy and joy and Shabbat, light and love. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat.
Shabbat Shalom, everybody, as we bring in those special friends, those special people into our lives, metaphorically, because this is still the pandemic. We bring in the Shabbat angels with Shalom Aleichem on page 142 in Mishkan Tefillah, or on page 2 of our Daf Tefillah.
Shalom Aleichem,
Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Moachem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Barchuni L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Tzedchem L'Shalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech, Malachei Hamlachim HaKadosh Baruch Hu. It's my pleasure to invite Maren Summerfield to introduce our next prayer.
Hello, I'm Maren Summerfield. L'chadodi is a prayer that welcomes Shabbat. I'm a superhero when I bake challah for other people. This relates to my prayer by helping others welcome Shabbat.
Thank you so much, Maren. We welcome Shabbat with L'chadodi. page 138 or page 3.
דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. אמור וזכור ודיבור אחד, השמיענו אל המיוחד, אדוני אחד ושמו אחד, ושם ותפארת ולתהילה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לקראת שבת לכו ונלכה, כי מקור הברכה, מראש מקדם נסוכה, סוף מעשה במחשבה תחילה. Here we go. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. התעוררי, התעוררי, כי באורך ומאורי, אורי אורי שדברי, כבוד אדוני עלייך נגלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה.
We rise facing our entrance.
בואי ושלום עטרת פלה, גם בשמחה ובצהלה, תוך אמוני עם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. Here we go, לך דודי. לך דודי,
לך דודי לקראת כלה, הנה שבת נקבלה. 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 My pleasure now to introduce Jared Katz from the Davis Academy Temple Emanu-El family to introduce our next prayer.
My name is Jared Katz, and I can be a Jewish superhero when I pray to God with my Davis community at Kabbalat Shabbat each week. Praying to God relates to my prayer because Shema is about asking God to hear our prayers.
We rise for Baruch Hu, page 146 or page 4.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach.
Mevorach Le'olam Va'ed. We continue turning day into night with Roll into Dark, page 4 of our Daf Tefillah.
Roll into dark.
Roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Yom v'layla, Lelom mipnei choshech, Lelom mipnei choshech, v'choshech mipnei yom. Roll into dawn, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. Roll into dark, roll into light, night becomes day, day turns to night. As we steady ourselves for Shema, whether we are seated on our couch or we are standing up for this prayer, we come to some form of attention, adjusting ourselves so we feel most present, most intentional, closing our eyes or concentrating on the words of our page or screen as we say these words of our faith together.
Shema Yisrael,
Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad.
Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto, Le'olam Va'ed.
If you are standing, please be seated. It's my pleasure now to invite Jolie Levy to introduce our next prayer, Ve'ahavta.
I can be a Jewish superhero when my family and I adopt rescue dogs. This relates to my prayer, Ve'ahavta, because the prayer talks about loving God with all your might and completing mitzvot like saving rescue animals shows love for God.
Thank you so much, Jolie. Appreciate it. As we join together in words of Ve'ahavta.
Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha b'chol levavecha u'b'chol nafshecha u'b'chol me'odecha v'hayu hadvarim ha'ele asher anochi mitzavecha hayom levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta bam v'shivtecha b'beitecha u'v'lechtecha b'derech u'shokbecha u'v'kumecha u'kshartam lehot al yadecha v'hayu letotafot bein einecha u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha u'v'yisharecha למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם אלוהים. אני
Adonai Elohechem.
אדוני אלוהיכם אמת.
Gavin Bosik, please introduce our next prayer, Micha Mocha, for us.
Hi, my name is Gavin Bosik. I can be a Jewish superhero when I accept that there is only one God and that he is above all else. This relates to my prayer because Mika Mocha is all about how there is no one like God, for he is unmatched in holiness. Nobody else could part the seas, nobody else could create the universe, and nobody else could help a people who face many hardships live to see the year 5781. Thank you.
Thank you, Gavin, as we join together in the words of Mi Chamocha, celebrating our people's freedom from slavery. Page 158 or page 6.
Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Like that. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai. One more time. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai. Mi kamocha ne'edah b'kodesh. Norah tehilot osei feleh. Norah tehilot osei feleh. Malachot Manecha, Bukayam, Livni Moshe Miriam, Ze'eli Hanu ve'amru, Ze'eli Hanu ve'amiru, and here we go. Adonai Ilo le'olam ba'ed. 2 claps. Adonai Ilo le'olam ba'ed. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Yai lai 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 lai. Lai 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 lai. Yai lai lai lai.
Continuing down this awesome chain of our amazing Temple Emanu-El kids at DFRS and the Davis Academy, it's now my pleasure to turn it over to the Medeiros house to introduce our next prayer for us, Hashkivenu.
Hello, I'm Molly Medeiros, and I can be a Jewish superhero when I help others. This relates to Hashkivenu because it's easier to get through something that's scary with help from others.
My name is Jess Medeiros, and I can be a Jewish superhero when I am brave. This relates to my prayer, the Hashkivenu, asks for God to provide shelter and protection. Being brave can help us overcome things that are scary to us, like public speaking.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Medeiros family. Way to go. All right. We are joining together with our prayer of shelter and protection, our prayer Hashkivenu, page 160 or page 6.
Hashkivenu Adonai
Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. Hashkivenu Adonai, Eloheinu l'shalom, v'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim. V'hamidenu shomreinu l'chaim.
Our next prayer, Vishamru, usually at this service, the service around Purim or the service around Simchat Torah, these are the craziest services of the year, filled with the most screaming and joy. And it is a very strange feeling to be here on Purim and to have 4 of us in the sanctuary with a lot of music and a lot of ruach, a lot of spirit, but we're missing out on your spirit. And so I know you are home. I know you are singing along with us. And so as we sing Vishamru, just like we would if we were all here, the hundreds of us in Temple Emanu-El celebrating the holiday and all of us being together, I hope that in between the verses of Vishamru, you will say a good Shabbos to the TV, to your iPad, to your iPhone, to the people next to you, to me, to Cantor, so that we can all bring in a little bit extra joy for this Shabbat and this Chag Purim, this holiday of Purim. As we join together in Vishamru on page 162, or pages 6 through 7.
Everybody get ready. Vishamru
B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat. Good Shabbos la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam l'ridolam. Vishamru B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat. Good Shabbos la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam l'ridolam.
V'niu b'nei Yisrael oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam.
Vishamru B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat. Good Shabbos la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam l'ridolam.
Ki sheshet yomim asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat. Good
Shabbos la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam l'ridolam.
Vayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafat, Shabbat vayinafat, Shabbat vayinafat.
Shamru B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam l'ridolam. Vishamru B'nai Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat l'dorotam l'ridolam. All right, bringing all of that ruach, all of that spirit with us into this service as we approach the height, the pinnacle of our prayers with the Amidah. And as you might have guessed, our prayers during this Shabbat, or the introductions offered by our amazing kids and teens, all center around Jewish superheroes, because that is the story of Purim, about Jewish superheroes, saving us, saving our people time and time again. And as we say the words of the Amidah, we recall those people who have supported us in every generation, reaching all the way back to Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, and all of the many women and men who have come in their footsteps. As we rise for the Amidah, or simply sit straighter in our seats, adjusting ourselves for the proper intention of this prayer, we join together in that memory and that intention of the Amidah, page 166 through page 170, or page 7 through page 9.
Ufi yakid tehilatecha Adonai, open up my lips, that my mouth may declare your our praise. Yeah, the lie, lie, lie. 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 Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu v'Elohei Avotenu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzhak, v'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, v'Elohei Leah. Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim v'Koneh Hakol, v'Zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mevii Geula livnei bneihem, L'ma'an Shemo v'Ahava. Melech Hozer u'Moshiach u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Abraham ve'Ezrat Sarah. Atah Gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayeh hakol atah Rav lehoshia. Mashiv haruach u'morid hagashem, Mechalkel chaim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Zomech noflim berofech olim, U'matir asurim, U'mekayem emunato l'shenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, U'mido melach, Melech nimid u'mechayeh, U'matzmiach Yeshua, V'neheman atal hachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Mechayeh hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kedoshim bo yom yehallelu chasela. Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
We take just a few moments for ourselves. Having prayed these communal prayers, we turn our prayers inward, using those words that are only known to us, written on our hearts, our souls, and our minds, to close our eyes, centering ourselves, finding a sturdy place to stand or sit as we pray for a moment quietly.
LaYehudim hayata ora v'simcha v'sason v'kar. The Jews enjoyed light and gladness, honor and joy. We sing these words, we chant these words from the book of Esther at our rejoicing that we become victorious. We win over that evil, evil man, Haman. So you all should be saying, boo! Let's try that one more time. Haman. Boo! So we celebrate. LaYehudim, Hai Tahora, V'Simcha, V'Sason, V'Kar. Try with us. LaYehudim, Hai Tahora, clap, clap, Hai Tahora, V'Simcha, V'Sason, V'Kar. Yeah, Tihyelanu, enjoy the same blessing. Tihielonu. That repeats, we sing.
Tihielanu. Tihielanu. Tihielanu.
LaYehudim.
LaYehudim. Hai ta'ora. Hai ta'ora. Besimcha. Besason. LaYehudim. Hai ta'ora. Hai ta'ora. Besimcha. Besason. So the story of Esther, the reason why we are all gathered here today wearing rather normal outfits that we might always wear whenever we're at Shabbat. Only kidding. The story of Esther, it's a funny story. It's not a typical story that we would find in Tanakh. It's a story that, honestly, when I read it, I think of it as satire, sort of like the precursor to all of the ironic, dark humor comedies that any of us might know and love. Purim is filled with a king, Ahasuerus, who is a drunken buffoon, a villain, Haman. Thank you. Haman, who is not only who fails at his own attempt, he's kind of like a Thanos character if you are a fan of the Marvel comic book universe or the fan of the movies. But he dies on his own noose, sort of like Thanos dies on his own power. And it's funny. It's meant to make us laugh, I think, and that's one of the reasons maybe that God isn't present in the entire story of Esther. There's no mention of God, and maybe because it wasn't meant to be a story about God coming to save the day, but maybe it was a story meant to be about Jewish superheroes, about Mordecai in particular, and about Esther, about people who are, for the most part, regular people who end up doing extraordinary things, who risk everything to save the lives of the people that they love. And ultimately, that's what comes down to being a Jewish superhero. In fact, when you go back and you look at all of the famous superheroes in the American comic book scene, the very first one being Superman, made by a Jew. Most of all of the major comic book heroes that we know of, where all of good superheroes are born, have a Jewish theme behind them. They have some kind of theme of somebody who is trying to help, someone who is trying to save, someone who is stepping up for those who are defenseless. And I think that's what Purim is all about. I wrote in our Kesher Quick about there are two kinds of Jews. There are Purim Jews and Passover Jews. The Passover Jews are like our Zionists. They say we cannot live here any longer. We need to go to a better land. We have to go to a promised land. That's where we can make our home. And those are the people who settled the land of Israel as we returned home. But the Purim Jews, I liken to those who are us American Jews, who have said this country might not be perfect, but we can make it more perfect. We can step up as Jewish superheroes and to help out our fellow Jewish Americans, to help out all those who are in need, who are weak, who are lonely. And that is the obligation of Purim, to see each and every one of the people around us as deserving of help, as deserving of saving, as needing somebody to step up with them or for them. I hope at this holiday of Purim, you're able to enjoy some of the festivities Hopefully, if you are an adult above the age of 21, you might have had a glass of scotch or a glass of wine tonight to enjoy the extra joy of telling the story of Purim as we are asked to do by our rabbis of old. And for everyone else, I hope you have had the opportunity to give gifts as one of the mitzvot to your friends and your family. That is a mitzvah, a commandment of Purim, is to give food and gifts to our friends. I hope that you will take the opportunity this weekend to send something, drop something off at the Community Assistance Center, the CAC off Roswell Road, because a very important part of Purim is also to give gifts and to supply the poor with food and what they need. And finally, you have already fulfilled the mitzvah of Purim of hearing a little bit of our story of this holiday. And if you tuned in last night, you definitely heard at our Purim celebration led by Cantor Adesnik, you definitely heard the amazing Purim story told from our congregants and the awesome talents of everyone that we know. And so I hope that this holiday is filled not only with joy, but with purpose, and that from this holiday, we can all gather together, stand up for one another, and make our world a little more perfect. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Purim Sameach.
Chag Sameach.
Okay, everybody. So now it is a very important time. It is the time to tell all of you about what is going on at Temple Emanu-El. And ever since the amazing Purim Carnival, it was a drive-through Purim Carnival. I'm sure a lot of you were there. There was tons of cars. And ever since that, it feels like Temple Emanu-El is kind of opening up after winter hibernation. So there's a lot happening. I'm only going to tell you about two things that are taking place ahead in the very few weeks ahead. Actually, maybe three. I'm still teaching my last class about why we are called Jews. If you've ever wondered that, tune in for the last class this Wednesday or Thursday. Also, this coming Wednesday night is an excellent discussion and unpacking of the show on Broadway that's being featured at the Atlanta Jewish Film Festivals. You can still see it online until the 28th. It's an excellent show. I just watched it last night at my home. And there is a Tot Shabbat coming up for all of you with little ones, like 0 to maybe age 4. It's right in that sweet spot. We're going to be at Temple Emanu-El here outside, socially distant, at around 11 o'clock to celebrate Shabbat and Purim. I will be coming dressed as the giraffe, so I hope you will dress up as well. And finally, Rabbi Rachel is teaching her class in 2 weeks about the next big holiday coming up, how to have an amazing Passover Seder filled with all of the delicious food, the songs, and the story that we all know and love. So there's a lot to look out for, and even more that I haven't mentioned. So I hope you will keep your eyes peeled in the Kesher Quick and on Facebook, and listen to us as we come to you live every morning at 11 a.m. So now, switching gears in a little way to thankfulness, it is my pleasure to invite Lily Trumpeter to introduce our next prayer.
In my home at dinner time, me and my family answer three questions every night. The questions we answer are: what was your favorite part of the day? What did we want? What did we do that was kind? And what are we thankful for? I can be a Jewish superhero in my house by saying that I am thankful for God every night when I answer this question, and encouraging my family to say that too. This relates to my prayer because the Shekianu is all about being thankful for God and letting your love be seen.
Thank you so much, Lily. I'm so glad to have you joining us. And now, if you would say what you are thankful for from this past week, from this Purim to last Purim. That was actually the last time that we were all together. It's a little weird, but in the Jewish calendar, now it's been a full year since we have been together as a community, because Purim was the last celebration that we did before everything shut down. So it's been a year. It's been quite a year for everybody, but there is so much to be thankful for. And so if you will please list what you are thankful for, I would love to see it, and to announce all of those amazing things for everyone to enjoy with you. So I'm so pleased that there's people coming to the Women's Sisterhood Seder.
Woohoo!
On March 9th.
March 9th.
It's going to be amazing. Yes,
You
I'm
can
very
still
grateful for
register
that.
too.
And if you are a bar or bat mitzvah student, now is your time to say what you are thankful for, as a way for us to know that you're here joining us. So let's see what we have for family and for friends, for all being healthy and well. I love that. I'm thankful for all of our amazing Temple Emanu-El, Diamond Family Religious School families, and our Davis families. As a product of both, I am so thankful to have all of you joining us virtually, and I only wish that next year, not quite in Jerusalem, but next year at 1580 Spalding Drive.
Yes, yes. I'm super thankful for all of our talented kids.
Yes.
I love our adults too, but the kids, like last night, just blew me away, and that was so super special.
Yep, I see Beth Blick is thankful for the kids as well, for family and friends, for Purim joy, for all of these things and many, many more. We join together in words of Shehechianu, which can be found on page 10 of your Daf Tefillah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehechianu v'kimanu v'hegianu l'zman hazeh. Amen.
There's nothing like a community who comes together for joyous times, but we know that more than that, we are a community who needs one another when we are weak, when we are in need of healing from God, or when we are in need of healing hands. And so in our community, we are praying for a Mishaberach L'cholim, a prayer of healing for the sick, for Brett Samsky, Andy Rush, Zohara Aviva Miller, Harvey Apple, Alvin Levy, Benny Edelson, Miles Rich, Zalek Ben Ressel, David Livingston, Matthew Wilcox, Judith Sinna, Beverly Harrell, Lisa Solanik, Alice Teratut, and Jerry Cox. If you are praying for the healing of a loved one or of yourself, I invite you to say that name aloud in your heart, or if you'd like to share that name in our comment feed so we can all take in those names together as we say our Mishaberach L'cholim, our prayer of healing, standing up, holding out our arms, holding one another in this prayer for peace and healing.
Mishaberach Avoteinu Mikor habracha Le'imotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Mishaberach Imotenu Mikor habracha Avoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
Mixing that sorrow, that need, and that pain with that joy of Shabbat, we raise a glass of Kiddush to life, to joy, to Shabbat. And so I hope whatever you are sitting with on the couch, at your chairs, at your kitchen table, at your dining room table, you raise that up as we say our Kiddush together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafel.
Amen.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kitshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho v'ahavahu v'ratzon hinchilanu, zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit, ki hu yom techila l'mikra'e kodesh, zecher litziat Mitzrayim,
Kivanu v'acharta, ve'otanu kidashta, mikol ha'amim, v'shabbat kodshecha, ve'ahava u'ratzon, yinhaltanu.
Baruch atah Adonai, v'kadesh haShabbat. Amen. L'chaim.
L'chaim. I just realized something. People may wonder why, when I'm the rabbi next to you, Cantor, why I tend not to join in until we sing Kivanu V'acharta. And I thought it might be, it's after the fact, but it's something that we can remember for next time. It's because in the language of the Kiddush, if you're looking at your daf tefillah, you'll see in the transliteration, it says, second to last line, you chose us. And in the Hebrew, it's Kivanu V'acharta. And so Vanu is us. You chose us. And so when I hear that us, the tradition that I grew up with was that is when the kahal joins with the chazan or chazanit, our cantor, in saying this bracha. And so when I hear Kivanu V'acharta, I join in because you chose us, God, and I am a part of that us. And so a little explainer. I feel like I've been doing this for years now in front of you in person and on camera, and maybe people have wondered why.
Oh, I really love that, and I remember it, you made me remember growing up, and that's what I did. And somewhere along the way, I started singing along with the cantor for the whole thing.
Sure.
But I remember doing exactly what you did.
Right, you either sing with the cantor because you're so proud and you want to sing the words that you know, because why not? But also, if you want to kind of wait and have that intentionality to the words as well, you might choose to wait until Kivanu V'acharta. So there you go.
That makes it really special.
The more you know. So we rise for Aleinu L'Shabeach, page 586 or page 12.
I've never seen a giraffe open up the ark before. This is going to be super cool.
The funny thing is giraffes open up the ark the same way that everybody else does.
Oh, yes. Aleinu L'Shabeach Adon HaKol, L'Teit Gidula L'Yotzer Bereshit, Shelo Asanu Kigoyei Ha'aratzot, Velo Samanu K'mishpachot Ha'adama, Shelo Samchakenu Kahem, V'gor Aleinu Kechol Hamonam, Va'anachnu Korim, U'mishtachavim U'modim, Lifnei Melech, Malchei HaMelachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, V'nemar, V'haya Adonai, L'melech al kol haaretz, Vayomahu, Yeh Adonai Echad, U'shemo Echad.
Continuing on this trend of explaining, I also realized that, we've talked about this a few times before, but why we bow when we bow at Aleinu, and it's literally because it says bow. Korim, Mishtachavim means bow and pray and prostrate yourselves in front of God. And so that is the reason why we bow, is because it says in the words of Aleinu that we bow. And so I feel like we're demystifying so much happening in our services.
Yeah, I love it. Well, and then that means everybody really has to watch over high holidays.
Yes.
Well, I don't do it because
right,
I'm in the middle of singing it. But you guys all, the rabbis, really bow, which is pretty awesome.
Yeah, so if you've ever taken a look at the translation, it's worth looking at, because at that moment, that's when we are bowing, and it says in our translation that we bow in front of God. And so there you go. So as we transition near the end of our service, we pause to remember those who are nearest and dearest to us, who we have lost in recent days or in years past. In our congregation, we send our condolences to the families of Richard Steinberg and Jacqueline Salenfriend and Deborah Schwartz for their deaths in recent days, for the family of Theodore Blyman in the period of Shiva, and those in the period of Shloshim, the first 30 days of mourning the loss of a loved one, for Murray Lynn, Vivian Zeligman, and Mary Howard. And for those yard sites, the death anniversaries which occur around this Shabbat, we remember those and pray for those families of Ada Weiner Abelman, Edith Abrams, Sally Abramson, Ruth Ambinder, Howard Blank, Richard Blass, Bertha Bleich, William Charlap, Sophie Chernak, Friedrich Cutler, Leo Felder, Milton Felsenfeld, Edith Fink, Marlene Foreman, Edward Franco, Harry Friedlander, Irving Fromm, Marvin Gelber, Rose Goldman, Hilda Goodelman, Jacqueline Graniff, Eve Greenstein, Catherine Grossman, Mac Hanner, Laureen Canner, Barbara Carpel, Alex Kaufman, Ruth Kabrinsky, Sandra Kraus, Meyer Lapidus, Sidney Lazarov, Alan Levine, Edwin Locke, Walter Malis, Bert Marks, Millie Migden, Barbara Chasen Miller, my grandma, Samuel Miller, Estelle Mittenthal, Jack Olander, Vincent Pasquarelli, Libby Penn, Joel Perrell, Dorothy Perrell, Ruth Rhine, Sam Rosenberg, Nathan Rubin, Carol Sandfield, Harry Seitz, Arlene Steinfeld, Norman Stoyer, Morris Talansky, Bernard Teller, Reuben Turner, Isidore Ubis, Paul Valinsky, Matthew Wallach, William Waxman, George Wertheim, David Zaretsky, Ruth Zelizer. We take in all of those names as we collectively mourn their loss and as we rise as a community, inviting those in the period of Shiva to rise, those in the period of Shloshim to rise, and those in the first year mourning the loss of a loved one to please rise. And finally, those who are commemorating a yahrzeit, the death anniversary of a loved one, to rise at this time. And if it is your custom to rise as it is the custom at Temple Emanu-El, to rise for those who died in the Shoah and for all those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, please do so at this time as we join together in words of Kaddish Yatom, found on page 598 or on page 13. Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei rabba, be'alma divra chirutei v'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala u'vizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei rabba mivarach le'alam u'almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh, v'yitadar v'yit'aleh v'yithalal, shemei dekudesha berichu. Le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, ta'amiran bi'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen.
Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. Shalom bimromav, hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael, ve'al kol yoshvei tevel, v'imru, amen. Ya na 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 na, ya 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 na 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 na, ya na 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 na,
Yananai, yananai, nai, nai. Ose shalom bimroma. Hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'al kol yoshvei tevel. Ve'imu. Amen. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Chag Sameach. Enjoy the weekend. Enjoy the holiday. I hope it is filled with lots of fun and joy and gladness.